Alec Murdaugh has become a household name, not just in the Low Country, but nationwide. There's so many aspects, history to this local family and the crimes that have been committed. The woman I sat to next throughout the entire Murdaugh murder trial, Valerie Bauerlein, a Wall Street Journal reporter, now the author of a new book, Devil at His Elbow, about the case and this family. Got a chance to talk to her today about what she found in that 3 years of research.
Because I'd been to Hampton County when I was many years ago. I'd done a story from there, and I covered the legislature, and I knew how power works in rural areas. I mean, South Carolina is different from other places, and you have this long tradition of a rural baron in a place like Hampton or, Orangeburg or Bamberg, Barnwell, something like that, who really has an outsized amount of power. And I was like, this is a story that is a wild, stranger than fiction story already, but it offered the chance to tell a story that I've been witnessing my whole career, which is how power works in the rural South. They had to take the portrait of his grandfather down off the back wall, where Alec, when he took the stand, he was looking straight at the back wall where there was this empty rectangle where his grandfather's portrait had hung. Alec had been at the dedication of that portrait and talked there. He had tried a case in that courtroom not long before the homicides. One of the third deputy, or third deputy on the scene, fourth deputy on the scene, was one of his expert witnesses. So it was his birthright to be in that courtroom. His great grandfather, they called him Mr. Fire and Brimstone, and he just was an awe-inspiring presence there. So I do think when you know every juror for as long as they did, his father actually, I found affidavits signed by his father saying that he knew every juror in the counties of his circuit, every single one. And so, yes, I think Alec knew who his family was and what they stood for. Really, it's absolutely American tragedy. And I think for me, we didn't have, as you remember, we didn't have computers or phones in the courtroom. So I have like these, I have a huge plastic bin of notebooks. And I was looking for something in one of them the other day, and I've got them labeled where different testimony is. And I opened up and I looked in the margins of one page, and it said, "Is this really happening?" But the family was very cordial. We ran into them in the hallways and exchanged pleasantries and small talk, and took turns at the water fountain like everybody else. But that we also knew, and they knew, highly aware that the cameras were on their face at all times. So it was a very much a high wire act, I think, for the family as well. I do, Alec's sister, his older sister Lynn, was there every day. His younger brother John Marvin was there every day. His son Buster was there with his fiance every day. His brother was not there every day. His other brother, Randy Murdaugh, who is a partner in the law firm. But Randy was there on the days that other members of the law firm testified. So Jeannie Seconder, the CEFO, or Mark Ball, or the other partners in the law firm. So if he was there, I took that as a signal that he was there in support of the family firm, less so than his brother, who he understands has committed a lot of crimes, a lot of felonies, and destroyed the family name.
Do you think, in a way, we've just scratched the surface on what really happened that night, that there's still so much out there that we don't know?
It was a hard thing as a reporter more than anything. You and I, we were wired to figure stuff out. We're wired to find stuff out and to want to say, where are the guns? I mean, there's a lot of missing money. The feds say as much as $6 million he stole from poor people, the poorest of the poor. That's still missing. Where is it? Is it buried in PVC pipes at Moselle? Some of it is. And is it offshore? I believe some of it is, but we can't say for sure. So it was hard for me. I answered as many questions as I possibly could for the reader. I tried to really make as many connections as I could for the reader, but there are things we'll never know. And having those unanswered questions is hard, but we do know one answer, which is that a jury of Alec Murdaugh's peers held him accountable for killing his wife and son. I tried to write this book with two people in mind, and it wouldn't surprise you, there are two people I know, but one is the person that followed every minute of testimony, who could name all of the Murdaugh dogs, just like, like Roger Dale Davis, who was just like, okay, there's Tabby Toes, there's Dahlia, that person. I wanted them to find something they didn't know or surprise them every couple of pages. And so that was at the top of my mind. I also wanted to write it for people that were familiar with it, or familiar with the case, knew the name, but didn't really follow it. Maybe they watched one of the documentaries, but not every turn of the screw. I just wanted to tell the story, beginning, middle, and end. And I hope that now that we're 18 months out from this huge trial, this cultural phenomenon, that it gives readers a chance to take a step back and figure out why they were captivated by it and what it all adds up to. What does it mean in terms of the epic American story?
It's a story that continues even today. I've got much more with Valerie. You can watch the full interview, including a lot more about the history of the Murdaugh family that she learned, WSAV.com/Murdaugh. As for Alec Murdaugh, he was a hearing in federal court trying to reduce his federal sentence. That's in October. And the South Carolina Supreme Court has agreed to hear his appeal for a new murder trial. The date for that hearing, though, has not been set yet.